What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel's Avengers gear guide video. In this gear guide video, I'll be taking a look at Jane Foster, aka the Mighty Thor, and her classic power gear set. With the classic power gear set, you'll be able to obtain an exotic version of it and also a legendary version of it as well. When you do get the legendary version, keep this in mind: the third perk with all the gear pieces will always be different from what the exotic version has. And that also goes with the Apex power gear set and the technical power gear set. So that's a little tip for you guys to remember. Now moving on, let's show you guys where to get the gear pieces from the classic power gear set. So with the gear pieces from the classic power gear set, you guys can actually run any villain sector that's currently in the game to obtain one gear piece from the classic power gear set. Majority of the time, the odds of getting an exotic version are very low, so you will most likely get a legendary version, and depending on the gear slot that you're getting it for, it might be beneficial to you or it might not. I highly recommend the legendary version for the heroic slot. Has a better perk as a third perk compared to the melee or sometimes the range slot. Reason being is the heroic slot, which is the last slot, that can come with Berserker buff, which is your damage buff, or Berserker Spark, which will help you regenerate your heroic abilities. And that can only be found on the legendary versions of these exotic gear pieces within these exotic gear types of sets. So with the classic power set, rare chance you will be able to get an exotic version from these villain sectors. Majority of the time it's legendary. And that's in the Eastern Seaboard. Future Wastelands has 4 villain sectors that you guys can run to obtain something from the classic power gear set. And then also hive missions. So regular hives, elite hives have a chance to drop a gear piece from the classic power gear set as well. The only thing is, from what I've been seeing, the hive missions have only been dropping like legendary versions. I've never come across an exotic version from the Desert Hive. Probably that's just my luck, but if you guys have gotten an exotic version from the Desert Hive Elite or any other Hive Elite or regular, let me know in the comments below. And then other villain sectors as well, like this one has 1 piece you can obtain. Wakanda has nothing. This one doesn't have nothing. Pacific Northwest, more hives, more villain sectors. And then Snowy Tundra, same thing. So you can get a lot of the classic power gear set gear pieces from the missions that are in the game. Like so many hive missions, so many villain sector missions. And again, rare chance of getting an exotic version from the villain sector. Majority of the time, they are going to be legendary. But legendary, depending on the gear slot, like I said, it won't hurt you. Now, the best place I do recommend you guys try and aim to get these gear pieces from the classic power gear set is the Elite Weekly Villain Sector. I don't have the objective with me right now, I just have the daily. But the Elite Weekly Villain Sector comes out every weekly reset. You can get 2 exotic gear pieces or legendary gear pieces from the classic power gear set. So that's just another tip for you guys to know. I will highly invest my time in the Elite Weekly Villain sectors to try and obtain gear pieces from the classic power gear set. Now we're going to go ahead and look at what Jane Foster can get within the classic power gear set, and I will show you guys a difference between a legendary version and an exotic version. So we have Griddle of the Allfather. This can come with Valor, Precision, Might if it's hybrid, Valor and Precision if you're ranged like what I have right here, Valor and Might if you're melee. We'll go over the perks right now. This can also come with Resolve, so let's not forget about that. Resolve is your health. The perk, 3% increased health and heroic energy regeneration while overcharge. Then we also have the ultimate lethal shock explosion. While all weapon is active, defeating enemies with your hammer will create a shock explosion. God Blast, enemies hit with God Blast have a 36% chance to drop an intrinsic orb. So your intrinsic meter is what's under your health bar, and that's where the intrinsic orbs will benefit you for. And then God Blast, if your teammates are in range or close by to you, you will be able to overcharge them and basically fill up their intrinsic meter. And to show you guys a legendary version, because I actually use a legendary version of this particular, gear piece, I have Berserker Spark, or you can have Berserker above, and I was able to again get this from the villain sector. And you can see the third perk is probably better than the exotic third perk, depending on what type of build you're going for. And it can come with Valor, Might, and Precision, so this is good for my hybrid build. Then I got this one for my range build. But again, like I told you guys, the legendary version, the third perk, will always be different from the exotic version. Moving on to the defensive slot, Chestplate of the Allfather, Intensity, Resilience, Resolve. Resilience, Resolve is like defensive attributes. And this one, it's an alright piece. If you are a new player to Jane, you can probably run with this piece until you get something better. But we'll look at the first perk, 15% increased critical hit chance from hammer attacks. Odin's Redemption, reduce the intrinsic energy cost for suffering a guard break by 50%. And then All Mother's Blessing Safeguard, gain increased defense based on the amount of All Mother's Blessing intrinsic energy built up to a maximum of 10%. So if you guys are not aware of what All Mother's Blessing is, it's just like Thor's Odin Force. It's your intrinsic ability. When you hit that right trigger, you'll be able to activate it. And here is a description that you guys can read about All Mother's Blessing. Now moving on to the range piece, the one thing I also want to mention about the range and melee, the second perk can roll with different status effects and different combos when it comes to these pieces, so keep that in mind. So the range piece, proficiency, precision, it can also come with intensity. We have lethal range hammer restoration, defeating an enemy will drop like a health pack sometimes. And then the second perk, this can also come with pin attacks or range power attacks if you are Thor or Jane. And then we have critical recall for Jane. When returning to your hand, any target hit with your hammer will be a critical hit. So when you throw your hammer and you're getting it right back, any target that's hit by that will be a critical hit attack. And then we have the melee slot. This can come with Might and Proficiency and also with Resilience. Sometimes you can get 2 out of 3 stats. And this comes with All Mother's Breaker and 18% increased damage while All Mother's Blessing is active. And then the second perk, you guys already know, it can come with different combo versions. And then we have Asgard's Fury, increase the amount of overcharge energy gained from all attacks by 15%. Pretty decent melee piece. The best gear piece I will try recommend, even though it is an exotic version, it is a heroic piece. And then also the legendary piece, or the legendary version, will not hurt either. So this will be my first option. This will probably be my second option if I'm going with like a melee build. And then this will be my third, and then the range will be my last. So that is a complete set of Jane Foster's All-Father or Classic Power gear set, whatever you want to call it. So those are all the gear pieces. And currently in the game, certain gear pieces don't roll with like Valor, Might, and Precision. Only like the heroic slot rolls with Valor. If they do change that in the game in the future, that'll be really beneficial when it comes to builds. But right now they only do have set stats on these type of gear pieces within the Classic Power Exotic Gear set, the Apex Power Gear set, and also the Technical Power Gear set. Alright, so that was a showcase of Jane Foster's Classic Power Gear set, also known as the All-Father Gear set. If you guys do have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you guys check out the playlist link I will leave in the description to all other gear guide videos that you need to build your heroes and where to find gear. With all these gear pieces or gear guides that I'm showing you guys, it's just to be, a tool for you guys to use to build your heroes to the maximum potential they can be, or the maximum, hero they can be. Whatever I was trying to say, forget it. You guys know what I mean. It's just to help you guys out to build your heroes and certain builds. More gear guide videos on the way, especially in the future, so look out for that. This is the first of many Classic Power gear guide videos I'll be doing. The first one up was Jane. Next up, we'll see who will be. If you do have any questions, hit me up in the comments below once again. Until next time, I'm out. You guys take care. Peace.